Hi, this is Rick Guasco from Positively Aware Magazine, and it is the day before A Day with HIV. And I just wanted to um, help to get the word out about A Day with HIV and maybe address some questions and some thoughts that people might have about the campaign. That's why I'm here with my friend Daniel G. Garza. So, hey, Daniel.
Hi, Rick. Thank you for inviting me and being part of a day with HIV or the day before the day with HIV.
Exactly. And thank you for letting me spring this on you. I appreciate it, the fact that you were
You,
so nimble.
Rick, I expect nothing less from you than to keep me on my toes. So
Well,
I'm happy to be here.
all right. Well, as you know, the idea behind A Day with HIV, our goal is to portray 24 hours in the lives of people affected by HIV. And that's all of us, regardless of HIV status. I'm a long-term survivor myself. I've been living with HIV since at least 1993. And um, I had developed Kaposi sarcoma, which meant I had spots all over me. I couldn't hide um, the fact that I not only had HIV, but I had AIDS. I resolved that I was not going to be another AIDS victim, but I also told myself I was not going to become a victim of stigma. And that's where this campaign comes from, is that um, it's about visibility, not only being seen, but for people to see others and to know that living with HIV is just like living with anything else.
Yep.
So,
Um, and
Daniel,
I think you and I have a very similar story. I was diagnosed in September of 2000 with AIDS. I was 110 pounds with 108 T cell count. Uh, they were pretty much counting me out. They were counting the days they didn't see me recovering. So much that in my comedy, when I talk about HIV, I talk about the priest that came into my room to want to give me my last rites, and I very kindly asked him, "Am I dying?" And he said, "Well, only God knows that." So I told him, "Well, get the hell out of my room, come back with a note from God, and then we'll talk." And he never came back, so I didn't die. Yeah, and but just like you, I was determined to not be a victim of the circumstances. I was not going to let HIV or AIDS define who I was. Although, disclaimer, I was labeled disabled. I was on disability for many years, and that label did mark a big dent in my life. Which, looking back, it was a detour that was needed for my recovery to get better, to learn everything that I know how to do today, to be the advocate that I am today, to be the person I am today. That was part of that needed to be part of my journey. But at the time, just like you, I was like, I am not going to be, my life will not be defined by HIV.
exactly, exactly. And so this, so Day with HIV is an opportunity to show these other parts of who you are, these other parts of your day. And so people sometimes will, like a lot of people take selfies, but you know, a picture is an opportunity to tell a story. And so I tell people, what are the stories that you want to tell? What parts do you want to share of yourself with other people? Um, I also want this campaign, I also want this project to be global in nature. That's why we try to appeal to everybody all over the world, and not just restricted to the English speaking part of the world. Daniel, that's where you come in because um, you speak Spanish so much better than I do.
Creo que sí hablo el español un poco mejor que tú. I think that, yes.
And that's why, we even created the logo in Spanish because I want people um, for whom Spanish is the primary language to feel a part of this campaign. I want there to be all inclusion, but Spanish is my attempt at language parity and language inclusion.
Yeah, when Spanish is, one of the primary languages spoken in the United States and around the world. In fact, the information in the packet that you sent me had the Spanish logo and the Spanish information, and as I was posting it just last night, I consciously decided not to post the English version on my pages and only the Spanish because I wanted folks who spoke Spanish to be identified, to be represented. And I wanted my colleagues and friends that saw it in Spanish who don't speak Spanish to make the effort to translate it and read it and find out what it was about. I left the hashtags in English because those are pretty universal.
Yeah.
But I think that inclusion is, the parentheses, we're all working on a cure. We're working on no new infections, no new diagnosis. And I think part of that is making sure that the information is in all language possible across the board. We can't leave anybody behind anymore.
Right. For me, inclusion and diversity also includes geographical, linguistic, um, abilities, um, and those, in whatever range. And I try not to think of it as groups. I prefer to think of it as individuals. I want everyone a part of a day with HIV. Um, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to ask you to um, recap in Spanish what the goal of a day with HIV is. So
Claro
that,
que sí. Para todos los que están viendo, un día con VIH es una oportunidad de tomar una foto, tal vez un video si quieren, para expresar cómo es tu día viviendo con VIH. Pero la invitación es mucho más allá de las personas que estamos viviendo con VIH. Si tú eres pareja, si eres hermano, si eres mamá, hijo de alguien que vive con VIH, tú también puedes tomarte tu foto. ¿Cómo es tu vida conociendo a alguien que vive con VIH? Queremos saber cómo vives tu vida, porque todos sabemos que no solamente somos el VIH o el SIDA, somos mucho más que eso. Somos trabajadores, somos artistas, somos creadores, somos mamás, papás, trabajamos, tenemos un día lleno y queremos ver en las fotos lo que tú haces con tu día viviendo con VIH. Para mí es trabajar en mi computadora, es comer, es salir a platicar con mis amigos. Es un día natural. El VIH no me detiene de realizar y tener una vida regular y normal como cualquier otra persona. Y en tus fotografías queremos ver eso.
thank you for that. Um, I loved how you put that. And I loved how you also added that a day with HIV is also for everyone, even if, whether or not you're living with HIV, that this is not only an opportunity for you to share your story, but also show your support for someone, a loved one living with HIV. Going back a few years, one of my favorite pictures from a day with HIV was a college student had submitted a photo simply of themselves. The caption was, "Here I am walking across the campus of TCU. My my best friend just told me that he's living with HIV, and I thought I would take this picture to show my support for him."
Yeah, we forget that a diagnosis, regardless of what diagnosis, HIV, cancer, diabetes, it's a ripple effect. It doesn't just affect the person that is being diagnosed, it affects the people around you, particularly something like HIV, which is going to be a lifelong battle, survival, thriving, however you want to name it. But when I was diagnosed, it affected my parents, it affected my siblings, it affected my nephews and nieces. Um, Maybe not at the degree that it would affect my partner, but there is that ripple effect. Just like when I was diagnosed with anal cancer, there was a ripple effect in how and the people around me. They either learned something new, they went to go get checked, and I think we all hope that a day with HIV, that photo will strike a connection. When somebody sees somebody like me and they're like, hey, we look alike. When was the last time I got checked? When was the last time I got tested for HIV? And we hope that that's the ripple effect. Go get tested. When was the last time you had a conversation with your partner or with your friends about HIV? And we hope we strike those conversations. So the ripple effect of that photo, you know, what's the saying? A picture's worth 1,000 words. We hope that a day with HIV photo strikes a thousand actions across the world.
I'm glad you brought that up. As we start to wind down here, that is actually one of the things I wanted to add is that, sure, it's a day with HIV. A lot of it has to do with taking the photos, but not everybody is comfortable or is in the position where they feel that, that they can take that picture. Uh, a day with HIV is also for the people who can't take their pictures. Instead, their part in this is that they get to see all the photos of different lives of people living with HIV, affected by HIV, and even though they might feel that they have to hide this part of themselves, from these pictures, at least they will know that they are not alone, that they are not alone in this. So, um, is there anything else you want to add I don't want to take up too much more of your time and too much more of other people's time who are still watching this. So,
Yeah,
is there anything
I
you
think
want to
you I think you just touched on something really important. Even in 2025, 40 years later, um, re exposing yourself,
Mm,
being vulnerable, um, claiming your HIV status is still taboo. It's still secretive. It's still shameful in some cultures, some religions, and under some social norms that not everybody is able, um, spiritually willing to talk about their status. But again, if some Latino, conservative, race Catholic, uh, who makes jokes is out there and sees my photo, but because of whatever reason, they're not comfortable showing their photo or taking that selfie. A selfie is a very big, especially in a campaign like this. It's a big commitment because we all know that what goes on the internet never goes away. It will stay there forever. But if I, Daniel G. Garza, am able to represent more people that were raised like me, that lived like me, um, or under those religious thoughts or cultural, if in me they can see themselves and feel represented, then I think as an HIV advocate, I've done my job. I have, I will, I mean, we all know this. When you step up as an HIV advocate, that is a banner that you carry for life. It never goes away.
mm,
And part of that commitment, part of that job is to step up and be the voice for people that are not able to do it. So, and I take that very, very seriously. It's
mm.
a big responsibility. So,
Okay.
for everybody out there watching, if you are not able, if you're not comfortable, if whatever circumstance that doesn't allow you to post your photo, we're here for you. We'll post that photo for you. We will represent you. Para toda la gente que no puede poner su foto, que no está, no tiene la confianza o está a gusto poner su fotografía, nosotros lo vamos a hacer por ustedes. Nosotros los representamos. Nosotros vamos a hacer ese día con VIH por ustedes. We will be a day with HIV for you.
Nicely put. And on that note, Daniel, thank you. Gracias por todo.
Gracias a ti.
I hope I didn't make your ears bleed by saying that. But
So good.
But everyone, please, again, this is your invitation and reminder to, on Monday, September 22nd, that's tomorrow as we're recording this, to photograph a moment of your day. Post the picture to your social media with a caption that includes the time, location of the photo, and what inspired you to take your picture. All of that's important because some pictures will be chosen to appear in Positively Aware, and we're going to arrange the pictures by time. So you'll have a picture 9 a.m. in Oklahoma City, followed by 9:15 in Paris, followed by 9:20 in Johannesburg, followed by 10:15 in Chicago. The idea is to capture the global 24-hour nature of A Day with HIV. Be a part of it. Oh, and include the hashtag A Day with HIV. Be a part of it. Thank you. And thank you, Daniel.